Rev'd up GarageCast coming back at you with episode number 9. We still have Frankie here. We're going to talk about promoting and the difficulties of, which we could probably talk about 10 episodes. Also, as always, have Mark and my main man Eddie. We're moving right on. Frankie.
Poor Mark.
What's wrong, buddy?
Kill yourself.
You want to be called my main man?
Nope.
That's good.
That's my main man Frankie over there.
Frank.
That's everybody's main man.
Anyways, 2019, you started hardcore derby promotions, or was it 18?
18.
18?
There were some. We actually, before even hardcore, we actually did a couple shows. We did West Alec, and we actually did a show at Washington, PA. Just did them, you know. We had a group together, and man, it seemed like it flowed, like just worked. And the people seemed happy, and the drivers seemed happy, and the crowds were good. I'm like, well, if we do it again, you know, we continue, we'll legitimize, you know. So
Never look back.
here we go.
You touched the water with your toes in 2012 or 13 when Bob passed, and you had to do, someone had to step up and do something in his memory because he had given so much of his life to the sport at that point.
100%. I had actually promoted a derby at the racetrack, Latrobe Speedway. I did one before. I believe Chris Quinsler won that derby.
Have you ever reached out to them again since?
Latrobe?
Yeah.
Oh my, yes. Yes, I know the owner very well.
Can't figure anything out to get a show there?
No, again, so many shows, so many derbies, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Adding a date,
It'd have to be a small show to just test your...
fighting for dates, fighting for weekends. The year of COVID went real well, but we were the only
the only ones that stepped up and still kept
the
going.
only bar in town. We had every
Roy Knob was rocking.
We had every derby fanatic. Crazy.
Anyone within 6 hours was going to Roy
They were
Knob at that
going to
point.
Roy Knob. It was,
Heard a lot in the names.
4,000 or 5,000 people, 200 cars. We were,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
We'd go, and it wouldn't be one heat of compacts. It would be how many.
Yes.
You'd have to decide if there's going to be 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then you had to draw numbers, and then someone like me, I'm there trying to bring 2 cars just in case. And,
Right.
that was a bad year if you're a derby addict.
I'm glad you're not there no more. I hate that track.
I love
I love the atmosphere. And I liked running the track.
I think the atmosphere was created though because of the circumstance.
I never had worse luck than I had at Roy Knob.
But let me tell you
Oh my
about
god,
the
that's terrible.
The derby.
How many axles did you break at the beginning of this year not at Roy Knob?
Twice. In one night. But the thing is, a Roy Knob, dude, like fourth, fifth.
I'd rather that than 30 seconds in.
No.
That track was
brutal?
Oh.
There was no once it took the water and it got stacky. Oh my god, it was like outright dangerous.
And you had some of the hard hitters from. You got some of the good drivers, but you didn't get the Joe Smoes from Ohio, New York, Virginia. You either got a good driver or someone that was driving balls to the wall.
Right.
So them heats were fast paced, especially in the compacts.
Remember Ricky hitting Jeremy nose to nose. I seen Jeremy's header.
Yeah, the Merrimans were coming every time. All them guys.
Oh, I think Nahor. That was about when Nahor put up. He got white. He got
Nahor.
I don't think he's ever derbied since.
Mock chicken.
He said this ain't for me.
His is different up there because there were some good cars.
Oh yeah.
Even just door shots, rock somebody.
There wasn't many times I was nervous, but you had to sit there and wonder about who all was in your heat sometimes. And each heat, especially in the compacts, there'd be 20-some cars in each heat, and you had 10 guys that you had to worry about every heat.
There was just stuff coming from the hot dog stand every which direction.
It was hard as an official to watch, to officiate.
Yeah,
that's because you have ADD, Eddie.
I know, but I don't think anybody in the headset the whole time. It was. Did you see this? Did you see that? Everybody was excited.
Haymakers.
I was pretty depressed when Eddie said he wasn't going to come back because Eddie was one of my most improved guys on the wall.
I think Eddie was probably the worst guy you ever had.
So when you start at rock bottom,
Well,
it's not hard to go up.
stop. You got it right.
He'll tell you.
Eddie continued to get better, continued to be more aggressive, confidence on the wall. I was really honestly, I took it, he had a few drinks that night. I thought it was your wedding. And,
Few.
A few,
at that point,
We're not going to talk about that night.
but
No, it's not.
I, as a promoter, people are good people that it's a sacrifice that a lot want to, but not many can make it, and they'll not put the rock in the hole. Because it is a tremendous sacrifice that these promoters, officials, wall guys do. Trust me, there's a lot of them out there. I look you, hey, well, I want to be until you're sitting there and you got to go do it. It's a tough one.
That's one thing I never got to experience.
Well, it's hard to do it over and over and over, too.
Over and over and over.
Yeah. It's a commitment.
Yeah, the commitment of being there, being consistent, and
The commitment that he's made.
We never let Eddie in the garage. We'd kick him out. He was there. We had all built with each other. He got involved in hardcore.
well, you know why though? Every time that I asked Eddie, "Can I do
Yep.
this?" He'd tell me, "Yeah, John."
Yep.
Tell me no. but I would do it and show up and then have to cut it.
I showed up.
And I'd be like, Eddie told me, nope, cut.
I showed up. My quarters crease says in rules you're allowed to crease your quarters. Eddie told me to cut it.
Yep.
Then I get back to the trailer, torch, I'm firing up. I'm like, wait a damn minute.
I had my
No,
moments.
Eddie was
We all did.
yeah.
Oh, and it's easy. The hardest part about officiating for me is you might miss something at one time, and you're gonna tech 20 cars and 19 you're gonna do right, and you miss one little thing, and that's the one thing that gets brought to everyone's attention.
Yeah. I call it the crucifixion.
Do 99 things right.
The crucifixion is brutal,
And
so that you can feel the nails going through your hands and feet.
I think eventually I'll be back on that side, but I just like to run too much right now while I can.
I get it. Yeah. You're in your A day. Keep making it. Yeah.
Mark, maybe one day you gotta try and get to that A game and then
Yeah,
get
I'm
through
not-
that, then maybe you can officiate.
I think he's gonna be a photographer though.
Dude, I killed it.
I think he
Me
likes
and
to have
Val
pictures
was, oh man, he took some good pictures. I
He
took
did.
some good pictures. Val even said I did. Mark Elliott even said I did.
Okay.
Steph said I did. I was a beast.
Maybe we
I
should
don't
just
know.
take that up instead.
You ain't got nothing on them girls.
Those girls,
Hey, I was
yeah.
getting down though.
Again, you did it one time.
Twice.
Green County don't count.
I took the winning pictures.
You did it one time. Did you even do it the whole Derby, or did you do one heat?
I think it was just one
Did
heat.
you do one
No,
heat
no,
at
I
Washington
did.
or the whole Derby?
After I ran, I was on the wall.
Okay. So 2 out of the 3. I think they only have 3 heats, right?
I ran my full size.
This will be the first year for 3.
Oh,
You got these at
No,
now.
there's 3. I took, because I ran bone stock full size, then I took the pictures of you guys in stock compact.
Yeah, there was
then
3 at Washington.
Well,
Then I took the pictures of the limited welds.
I think what we did is we had so many compacts, we better heat and feature green.
No, we're
No,
talking
no,
Washington.
Washington.
Yeah, there's 3.
There was 3.
Because
Yeah, there was more than, there
we
was.
ran bone stock and I beat his ass, and then we hopped in the
Yes.
stock compacts and Mel beat my ass, and
There
then
you go.
Then we went to Stoneborough and I smoked Steven's ass.
yeah, every time Mark's beat me, I've shut off for him. I don't know what he's talking about.
Frankie, I had him in that danger zone we talked about before on that stage. You don't want to get there. I had him there and he wasn't getting out.
See, I was testing out his new motor, and I just shut it off that way I didn't hurt it.
I was prepared to break my own motor hitting you.
But speaking of some of the difficulties in promoting, you said it already. There's so many shows going on in a small area.
Yeah.
I think Ohio and Western Pennsylvania is the epicenter of Demolition Derby. Not saying that there isn't other states that are better at it. Not saying that there are other states that there's better derbies in general.
I'll say it. I've been all over the country.
The amount of drivers, though, this
I'll
is
say
the
it.
area.
I'll brag a little bit. I've been in South. I've been in Indiana. I've been in all over. southwestern Pennsylvania, parts of Ohio. It's definitely different. As you go west, things change. Then you get all. I mean, you've been the build and the way that things are run. Southwest Ohio, I'll say, when I was with Destruction Productions, Lovejoy and his Schumann at Randolph, at Carrollton, learned me a lot. They were way ahead of the ball game compared to Southwestern PA. But some of the Southwestern, me and Jumper, we did a derby at Randolph, and some of the guys like Trent and Grice, and they went to Ohio, but they just took a leaf. That was the year when you could leaf spring a car. They just took a Chevy wagon rear end and put it in a Caprice. Well, there's nothing like a Lovejoy flat stack, guys, and a Schumann, tight stack. I mean, those weren't even springs on there. That was just flat stock, So when they hit our guys from PA, they just they blew apart like coconut shells.
Ralph Nine went up there and had some really good success, though, didn't he? But that was a lot later. That's another name we didn't mention in the first one.
Ralph went after the fact, and met those guys, and boy, he stood up to the rules, and I believe he won one of Schumann's big shows, King of the Ring.
Well, I know he was winning on a team show.
Yes.
Yeah. That car was actually, I bought a bunch of his bumpers when he's done, and I have a 76 Impala bumper that I've probably ran like 5 times, and he's like, you're not going to hurt that bumper unless you're running against something that just ain't right.
Right. I believe that one motor that he had built, it had 2 barrels on it or something like that. It was pretty great.
Yeah, that's the one he kept, I think.
Yeah.
It's in a street car or something now.
Like a little car, like a...
I think he gets the itch every once in a while. He'll message me randomly with a derby question.
I still get it too. I know now he's into he went pretty heavy into the dirt car thing. But yeah, Ralph was another one that came around in the day and did well. Wow, Ralph's a very, very intelligent man. Very intelligent man.
See, back to the thing with the PA Ohio derby thing. There is one place I will not go out of my way to run a compact. You know where it is.
Yeah, Mark's scared of New York.
Dude, Mini Meltdown, I went up there and seen that the year hardcore started, 2019. I went up there I said, I'm running my first Camry. Steven said, well, they're having Mini Meltdown. We can go watch that. They run a bunch of Camrys and Hondas up there. So, sure as shit, we went up and watched it. And we picked up a bunch of parts, too, off Jeffy for hardcore Camry stuff. And I said, but I'm not running here. It's one end to another, nose out, don't
Mini
care.
Meltdown in San Filippo, they're on a bar of their own with some of the hard driving.
Yes.
But hardcore compacts is not one to shake a stick at either. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So, promotions wise, you're never going to make everyone happy. I mean,
No.
you're just not.
No, there's too many, just even subtle differences right now. Like I said, you're kept to such high tolerance until just right down this line that there's so many. Well, this guy wants a bumper, this guy don't want a bumper. You got to pick and choose a direction, and you're held to such a high standard.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
What do you do?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is so many times I hear that people about you, the name. Here's the funny, somebody's name, or I wanted this one to win, or I wanted that one. I mean, there's no kind of money changing, life changing money in this at all. I'm going to pay somebody. I don't care who I pay. I mean, what's it matter to me who I pay? And me coming from a driver, I said, I don't want no more, but I want no less. That's why a big part of why I do what I do. Because I watch people, get beaten by what I knew was, revved up cars, plated up cars. And, they just didn't get it or catch it. I kept my mouth shut and just kept do better. But it gets to a point now where, I hear that all the time as a promoter, not your name or this. It honestly doesn't. It don't. To me, I'm speaking for me.
Yeah.
It don't then, it doesn't now, and it never will be. I just want the guy to win that does the best. I want the best car, the best driver to win. Whoever that may be, I don't care. It don't matter. It doesn't. There's changes me no way or form. But I do sure. I hear a bunch of it. It's just always weird. It's like, I mean, the one guy. So I don't even like him. I mean, like, why would I let him go? If I wanted, I didn't like that guy. But you treat them people the same, friend or foe, enemy, best friend, whatever it is. You treat them with respect. You treat them right. And there's no secret. I just treat people the way I wanted to be treated as a driver.
Yeah. You do really good at that, Frankie.
Well, you got try. I try, buddy.
Yeah, that's it. You definitely your heart's in the right spot.
What's probably your worst experience as a promoter?
Well, we'll come back to that one.
You weren't ready for that
I was not ready. That was not ready for that one.
Okay, so what was your best moment as a promoter so far?
one. Eddie talked.
I can't believe it.
I had a question.
Does Frankie have an answer?
Yeah. As a whole thing, I got to go back to Fayette here. I think the last time I promoted it, the last night, and we looked out there and I seen just wall-to-wall people, both ends, 20 deep, and the stands full as they could possibly be. And I seen people cheering and I seen kids smiling, and I mean, being able to say, man, I did this. I mean,
You're talking Fayette Fair?
Fayette Fair.
Okay.
One of the nights, I think the last show we did there was like the last night of the last that we did 3 derbies. I've never seen it so packed.
I believe it was August 6th. I want to show that. I want that night.
There was so many. There was cars.
You got Hellraiser.
I got Hellraiser.
It was a great cars. It was a great derby. I seen a bunch of happy people, and it makes me to see them. I think we had a great youth thing, even car count.
We had a good car count.
Yeah, for that's that moment.
And I never thought about that. I always thought, man, you're going to talk about championship or this. But if you're from our area, hardcore, I mean, Fayette Fair was on the ground, and hardcore hooked up the things to, what's that called when you give someone jumpstart their heart?
Well,
you brought them back.
I'll tell you this story.
Everybody was hoping they did.
Not Mr. The guy that they just retired up at the fair. That was there for a long time. I can't remember.
Blaney.
It was one of the last shows that Gordon did, and I don't know. It was the feature event was a couple minivans or something. And this is by no means derogatory against Gordon or anything, but no kosher. He looked at me, and he was on his little cart, and I was back there, and he said, "Are you ready?" And this had to be 17, 18, and I was not going to be the guy to replace Gordon Crusher, and it's because of the love and respect I have for Bob. I had to let things go, and if he stubbed his toe or if he asked me for help, either way, I was there. I was going to help him. I wasn't going to hurt him. And it just got to a point where I don't think Gordon tried to do it bad. It just got overwhelming. It is overwhelming.
He wasn't ready. And I don't know that anyone ever is, but he was into some different stuff mentally, and just, it was hard.
This is a full-time devotion, the dedication it takes, especially as everybody around you stepped up. You need to keep stepping. You miss a beat here, you are in the back of the bus, man. Called the caboose, because TJ and the other people in the other shows continuously raise that bar.
Mm-hmm.
You continuously keep up with the Joneses and make sure you got good people, good cars, good arenas, stuff like that. So that's how that all went down, and we went the first time, and we went to the fair, and we put a spiel in or a bid or whatever you want to I hate to call it a bid, because that's a bad word to me. But we did our thing, and we got the Derby. And thought what I did is, like you said, I thought I reached down and drug it up out of the mud.
Resuscitated it.
Yeah, brushed it off and sat it up on there again. We was on our way. And, of course, got through a little bit of curve.
I'll tell you, you said that golf cart moment. I had a little bit of a story that I just knew Gordon, he was not going to continue. He, after championship one night, and I mean, their features, and no matter what the fair show was, everyone showed up on championship night.
Right.
So it was the championship. There's a picture with all the cars lined. It was a good one. And 15, 16. I don't know. I actually ran that night.
I want to say it was 17.
No, I'm not saying when he was done, but I'm talking about this specific championship. I knew that Gordon wasn't going to, not that he didn't want to be there and want to do it, but it just wasn't for him at that time in his life. He looked at me at the end of the night and said, this was too much. He said, we need to find a way to have less cars next year at championship. And I knew then, like...
No, one of the first things I did is talk and meet with Gordon. And even Bob's ex-wife. She was there too. And, it wasn't a hostile takeover. It wasn't. If anything, they were glad to see you, Frankie. You, of all people, yes. Bob will be proud of you and all that you did and how you did it and what you're doing with it. There's still no... I know a lot of people, when they said the promoter was changing on Facebook or, what was that? They didn't know who or what. Of course, we're going to complain about it. We didn't know who the guy is yet. But it was me, and I was very proud of it.
I remember when we heard it, and when Facebook heard it, man, it blew up. Man, everybody was pumped up. We knew you guys were going to do the right thing, and we said, man, a good Derby is going to come.
Yes.
Yeah, I questioned it I questioned the having 4 people at the helm of it, like how hard that would be to maintain. But I knew each one was in it for the right reasons when they started together.
Right.
I know one thing we wanted to talk about a little bit was, and this isn't necessarily promotions, but I guess it is. It's more on the tech side. The SMW Expo, they're having a novice class for the youth guys. They are, these guys that are running, they have to meet credentials of having very little seat time.
Little to none.
Or first. A lot of them are first time, a couple of the guys that I've heard.
One of the things we want to stress there is we are sort of leaving that up to the parent. Say, do the right thing. I don't know these kids. You can tell me, I don't know where they're from, or you tell me they never ran, and let's hope that stays true to the fact.
Yeah. But the unique part about this is youth drivers, they also brought in youth officials. So these kids that have never seen, and some of these kids, I mean, they're already pushing rules, and they're bending and twisting everything. Freebie, I'm talking about you.
I knew you were talking about.
Anyways, some of these kids, man, they have the experience in the driver's seat and hassling the officials, and
100%.
they've never seen what these officials go through on the backside of it.
Right. Now I have them under my power. Have you ever made an official?
What is some of them conversations?
The trials and tribulations, and I throw the first thing at them is the banter back and forth, and I've played a little bit of devil's advocate. It's probably one of the best things I've been a part of at Demolition Derby, is to watch these kids back and forth on what to give and to take. And I throw a curve at them, and the picture. Well, we need a picture. That's how you know it's even a picture of the car, or the car didn't bring it. What do you mean? I said, well, someone sends you a picture. It could be someone else's. And then maybe this guy didn't even blow those holes out yet. Maybe he's just telling you that, won't send you a picture until you say it's okay. Then he blows the holes out and puts the body mounts. Oh.
You know what we need to do?
Maybe it sounds like someone's freebie and freebie.
No, we need to create an identity and mess with these kids.
That's some crazy. It's been pretty busy. I mean, we've had body mounts. We've had pitched in the air. We've had what was another one? Oh, the 03 spacers. And the kids, I was funny to fix. We had to fix one in the air, one to fix the plates. It was unanimous. Pull it down. No fix the plates, man. No fix.
Jeez, they're harsh because every one of them.
Tough crowd.
Every one of them kids, if they were in the other shoes,
I see
they want them fix it
parallelograms
plates.
on some of their cars. Yeah. So we got Ryan Clark, Jacob Farmer, Bristol Muldoon, Freebie, Cam Penwell, and Cale Norris. Who else is on there with me right now? I think
Said
that's
Clark.
Jacob Farmer. I said Ryan from Canada.
Clark, yeah.
Ryan Clark, Bristol, Freebie, Jacob Farmer. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Definitely
No.
kids with a lot of seat time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, are they going to be attacking the vans as well?
No, Derby Sharks. Derby Sharks.
Tony Godwin.
Yeah,
Muldoon.
Zach
Campbell.
Yes.
They're teching the van.
They're teching the vans. I said, how cool. Who are we going to get tech vans? What better than the Derby Sharks?
I liked them. I was hoping Will
Yeah, what a
Freebie would
blast.
be looking at my van.
What a blast that's going to be. They'll make that the best. Of course, Tony Godwin asked me, I thought mine was going to have 73 Pontiac brackets. I said,
Here we go. This
here we
again.
go again.
Here we
Have
go.
you
This
guys-
Here
again.
we go again.
Now, Jeffy's told me that they're most likely going to go with hardcore rules. Have they actually determined a rule set yet?
It is, yes.
It's hardcore rules? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, yeah,
73 brackets it is.
yeah.
So can we show up with like the bench warmers? The crown on the paper. I'm 12.
No.
Red
We're
and
talking
crown.
for the vans. The vans doesn't need.
Vans.
I'm not. I'm talking about maybe one of youth.
I mean, you never ran a full size.
Yes, I have.
Oh, yeah, you ran a bone stock full size.
Booyah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So that it's been amazing, and I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed that back and forth conversation. Again, playing a little bit of the devil's advocate. I'm guiding them. I'm not letting them, but as long as I agree with their decisions and their reason, their rationality, and how to do this, because your question comes through. We know the car number and the person. It goes to them when they go to the tech. There's the information. I copy and paste our answer back to that driver. So it's all legit, just like I would do as a normal.
So you think these kids have a group chat talking about, oh, well, this guy sent this, so they're going to send it to the group chat. What do you guys think about
They have
this?
another chat without Frankie.
No, I got them in that group thing, and
So you letting them play it pretty well, like their call is their call? And
well, I kind of, I let it roll. But it's pretty easy to give them the reasoning if I like the 03 clamps on the things like no. Like in my mind, I would have said no right away. But they didn't see the reasoning in why I said no. And, then so I start throwing my reasonings. Before I said no on the risers, I start throwing my reasonings. Hey, it's another add-on, it's another piece you gotta buy. You're in a stock class, you're in a bone stock class, but you can't touch the body mounts. And the steering and suspension stay in stock. With adding it, now you're no longer stock. Well, it's an 03, that's your choice of car. It may sit a little lower than 9802, but that's your choice. You didn't pick the car. So, so those are the things I throw at them. Remember, when you're making these decisions, they chose an 03, not a 9802. Does an 03 sit a little bit less lower? It's part of the deal. I mean, yeah, but knows what do we do here? So
right.
I throw those things at them, and they're quick to say, oh, yeah, then think of that. Which, as anytime 2 or 3 heads are always better than one.
Mm-hmm.
That Expo just keeps getting better and better from my eyes.
it's going to be a good time.
He talks about that, and then one thing that Mark's excited about is the ride and drive.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, Casey's doing the right. I'm also doing, I don't know if I should let the cat out of the bag. I do get some.
Let it out.
You got some tea, Frankie.
Come on. We like tea, Frankie.
Might as well let it out.
Come on.
What's that? Kinman.
Jason Kidman.
He's going to do one of the breakout sessions.
He's going to do what?
One of the breakout sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Pitching or tilting the car.
Okay, so yeah, he's doing one of the seminars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's gonna be officiating 101.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
attend that.
All right, I'll leave that.
Eddie needs to attend.
Yeah. But
I don't want to go
those
back
are
to
some.
officiating.
Those are just to mention a few. I won't go, but those are some of the things again as value-added services. Anybody that's out there that's on the fence about.
No,
buying.
Jason reached out to me already and was excited that we're going to be there with a booth and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, so those are things we're working on the back end, of adding more of those value-added.
Yeah.
You know, and
So-
then again, I put online tonight the Promoters Summit. It's
Well,
actually Friday night.
I was going to get to that. We led astray from the whole
Oh,
difficulties of being a promoter
Yeah.
in general, and sort of started talking about some things we just wanted to talk about. But one of the biggest difficulties of being a promoter is working with other promoters. So
yeah, I guess I've been an advocate. Some say I'm too nice. I always hear it. Why are you so nice? Why you let this guy do this or that guy? I don't know.
You've been there.
I'm about. I want everybody to win. Like I said, you can't beat me because I want everybody to win.
I want to say this because there's a lot of promoters that I feel are against this. Don't try and be successful off of pushing someone else to fail.
100%.
I don't like that.
I talk to promoters, and you know, people will call and hey, you've done this before. I try to help them. I try to give them good advice.
Well, the people that need to fail, they're going to do it on their own. I mean,
Right.
it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but they're going to.
Slow
So-
and steady death.
Yeah, you need to stay true to
Especially
your
in this day and
intentions.
age,
in this.
I'm just hoping I can hold on till we wean some of those things out. There's a lot of pop-up promoters, and you know, we're going to do a derby here. Let's get in the field. I mean, there's so much more to doing it and doing it properly. You know, and there's a big, huge difference in those two things. You know, so.
And I've been there. Like, in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I'd love to promote one big show. But I don't want to sustain that, and it wouldn't be fair to the drivers to come in and bring one big show in and then go away. Then I'm hurting the promoters. I'm hurting the drivers. I'm hurting.
Right.
And to do it right, you want a more sustainable base and to grow them relationships in the correct ways with the insurances, the this, the that.
Right.
Dude, Rev'd up compact sounds great.
Rev'd up compact,
And
revved
to
up promotions, revved up.
I don't know if people noticed it or noted it yet, or this year, last year, it continues to get a little better. New Alex, Iron City. Look at the Light Weld. You know, there's the
Yeah, they're getting close. The light wells are all
Yeah.
sort of like just a touch up from the hobby
Yeah,
stock, and
yeah.
everyone's running it.
yeah, and it's pretty similar. So
Well, they're not calling it light weld. What are they calling
they're
it?
calling it limited weld.
No.
Up in New Alex, it's limited.
What's Iron City calling it?
Light weld?
Are they light weld? Okay.
Yeah, mine's light weld, which and I'm calling it the Warrior.
Yeah, light weld
weld
warrior.
So, again, the names. As a promoter, one of the things I hate is the class names. That's crazy.
Well, you have a lot of them.
I have a lot of them, and I tried to make a match, but like when TJ had a limited weld show, it wasn't. I mean, a limited weld's heavier normally, but it depends on where you're at in the world. In the Midwest,
You go down to Kentucky and bone stock's like pretty
So,
aggressive. So I mean,
Indiana,
it's
they got all these pointies on.
oh, it's hard.
Santel,
It's hard.
You know, cages and all these pointies.
You went
In
to shows,
Indiana, bone stock.
like you hear pro stock, there ain't one thing stock about the cars.
Well,
Some places.
yeah.
I mean,
Right. It depends on the area, what's the
Yeah.
name. So I tell people, please don't let the name deter you. Read the rules, read what it's about, take a look at it, go from there.
yeah, I mean, you definitely got to dig before
For sure.
judging a book.
yeah. I mean, hardcore compacts, for example, it sounds more aggressive. I mean, you're allowed to do a little bit, but it sounds more aggressive. But it's just what it is.
Yeah, Johnny Howman, H15 I love that hardcore car. It fits. I mean, it's a great fair class. It fits. The guys can run them a couple times. He's got it just dialed in as Howman H15 always does. Whatever he does, he got it dialed in. And
Who's Hama?
Except for hair growth.
Hair growth.
I'm not far behind you.
Right. Yeah, but I've had the pleasure of working with him, and you spend a lot of time. These people, when I say they're people, they turn into family real fast. You eat with them, you sleep with them. I mean, I'm not sleeping with them.
Frankie, we might need to edit that out.
Yeah.
Gag reel.
I mean,
I'm leaving that one in there.
you go to dinner with them.
Yeah.
You stay in the same place with them.
There we
you
go.
do all those things.
Different hotel rooms or same hotel rooms, Frankie?
Different.
I know Eddie and Teddy shared a hotel.
Eddie and Teddy.
It happens. But
This place is sleep.
Hey, but
Yeah.
Lockwood series, I was staying with people I was staying with other guys I never met in my life.
No, I get it, but you just spend so much time and you really become a family, and it's tight.
Even just like not promoting either the Derby family as a
The Derby
whole.
family.
Just even
It's wide.
like I go out to these shows and you meet these people, and then I mean you come close, and
You do.
it's just how it is.
I mean, the majority of the Derby community, and I say this all the time, is really good people. I mean, you're gonna have a bad seat in any
When you guys
society.
said about making everybody happy, it's funny. Me as a Derby car guy, like a car. When I built a car, 100% wasn't good enough. It had to be 110%. Now, as a promoter, I blame myself. It's the 2% that I'm worried about. I got a 98, but it's the 2% that aren't happy,
Yeah.
that kills me. That why can't I? That's the part, because 100% is not good enough. My car and my builds and what I do needs to be 110, because there's other guys who reach 100. Mine needs to be 110, and now here I am as a promoter, getting a good grade at 95 or 98%, but it's the 2% that
How do I get that
how do
100?
I get that 100? It's the 2% to keep me awake, or the one guy that doesn't know much about Derby that put something on Facebook or yelled at me at this show, or that I try not to let it show it bothering me, but I go home at night and I get an hour of sleep. Or what did he mean by that, or how did he say that, or how it's not true. Even when you know it's not true, it builds up and it eats at a lot of good people. Some promoters and people not wanting to, sour them.
Yeah.
From wanting to do it, and no fun no more. You hear a lot of them. This ain't fun no more. This is crazy getting yelled at and screamed at, and all the things that they do. It's hard on you. You try not to let it take the toll. And I always call them duck feathers. I used to tell my guys, duck feathers, let the water roll off you guys. But even me, sometimes I'm saying it, and I'm crying inside for them, man. I was like,
Oh, I've seen, and I don't know what changes you're making, but I've seen some of these guys like Charlie was always one. Just he let stuff get to him. You could tell, and I mean it's hard. I've been on that side.
walk away. It's hard to walk away or not talk about it.
One of the reasons that I wanted to run more, so I mean I can't say that's the only reason, but just criticism, and I got accused almost. I won't say accused, but I have a lot of friends no matter what, and every promoter is gonna have to be friends with some of the drivers. that
Somebody
run their
told me
shows.
that. Hey, 40 years in this, 18 years of officiating, 20-some years of driving. Who don't I know to come to? I mean,
So- And I'll be the first to admit I should have had thicker skin, but someone told me, man, you let your friends get away with more.
right.
And you can ask any one of these guys. They got away with less. Like,
Aren't you always harder on them?
I mean,
Because of the fact is, that's what people are going to say. So I'm always tough for me.
And when
I
I-
know this don't mean nothing, but you got to cut it because it says 6 inches and you're 7. Now, probably the normal guy for another inch or a half inch. But no, I know you. If I let
and
you
someone's
do
going to
something-
say something.
Yeah. So you let him get another
And I
inch.
can't tell you when I first started running for hardcore again after I was officiating, oh, well, you were part of hardcore. You're going to get away with this. No, John was harder on me than anybody.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I could sit there and tell him it says this, and he'd be like, no, you're cutting it.
Right. No,
Yeah.
again, the whole falsehoods of all that, this guy, this, and your name, that.
Definitely hard, and you got to have thick skin. It's hard.
I can only speak for me, Charlie, and all the guys. Johnny Cashin, passion. the passion in that guy's heart. My goodness, and it wore him down, man.
Well, it
I mean,
definitely
you're sitting there trying to give the people good experience, and you're going through all this headache just to get bashed. I mean, it's hard.
Right, and it's just a constant bang, and just over the head, over the back. I mean, it's a constant bashing. You know?
I envy the people that can just let it go in one ear and out the other.
Yes, yeah. I got to make some, Tim Clark. I watch it and I see some things and smash it. Man, God bless him. To get 40 years, whatever years, all the years, and these people that do all this time and been smashing cars all these years. God,
I've watched people bash him worse than most promoters, and he just
I
keeps
laugh.
digging.
I say it too. They can say what they want, but for every probably 2 or 3 that go, there's 5 or 6 to take their spot, and he continues to do well, and he continues to move on. And Blizzard bashes, the bash probably 2 is still the biggest derbies in the country.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't either. They're getting bigger and stronger with Junior coming about. But what I'm proud about is the opener. I went to him and with that guy. The way the communication. I like the way he went about and done things. Not tooting smashing his horn, but I mean just on a personal level. Besides the derby, they're human too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing is too, like promoting two people. At the end of the day, they're people. I mean, they make mistakes.
Sure.
It happens.
No one's perfect. I guarantee you, there's things we missed. But I tell you, maybe we missed it, but it wasn't because the guys didn't inspect their guts out to try. If we missed it, we missed it. There's things 100% I know we missed after the fact, but it wasn't because we didn't try their asses off not to. It wasn't because they seen it and said, "Ole, ole." You say some of these guys are good. You get guys. There's some guys up there that are pretty damn metallologists because they can make a fake one look like a new one, and they're really good at what they do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're really good at what they do. You talk about other promoters and working with them. TJ, there's another one I've become super close with. The other night at the funeral when I looked up and who walks in through the door is TJ and Kayla. What a surprise. Gives me a hug and says, "Love you, brother. We gotta stick together." And there's been times we lean on each other in different ways. Behind the scenes and all the things that you guys probably don't hear or don't see, there's more of that than you think. And TJ's been a good confidant.
So TJ, I mean, he's expressed it to me before his first show. And when I talk about don't be that guy or don't be that person that wants to succeed based on someone else's failures, he initially, he wanted to succeed and wanted something so bad because out of anger, and he turned it around, and I think that's why he's been so successful. I mean,
right? No, I agree.
No,
I like his niche. He got a niche. He got good things on, and he talked about people doing it for the right reasons in the heart. I believe there's another one that the heart's in the right reason.
I can't unsee it though now. His live feed the other night, someone told me that his hair looks like ramen noodles. I cannot unsee it.
Too, yeah.
You need to watch the live feed because it's going to remind you of dropping that boy in Cube in that water.
Right. I didn't think about that. That's the night I actually commented on that and told him he had really nice hair.
Well, you like ramen noodles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we need to wrap this up. If you've ever been on the phone with Frankie, as a lot of you probably have, we could probably talk for about another 6 hours. So we'll schedule episode probably 16, 17, 26, 27. We'll have Frankie back at some time, I'm sure.
Yeah, lots to talk about.
We have lots to talk about. I appreciate every one of you listening. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, Rev'd Up GarageCast. Check out Hardcore Derby Promotions. Check out some of these other promoters that we talked about. And for sure, check out Smith Metal Works Demolition Derby Expo.
You ain't going to want to miss it.
Be there. Be unbelievable. It's going to be, there's 34,000 square feet? 45,000 square feet, the building. And the Derby's 50 yards from the building. Get there, be there, be square.
You guys have to have a good bit of vendors signed up for that already because
Yes.
Casually just talking to people that I wouldn't even think were vending, and they're like, "Oh no, we got a spot. We're doing this. We're doing that." Okay,
Fill
awesome.
it up.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this will release in time. If you haven't got a spot, you better get it before they're gone.
Yeah, this all started on a 5:15 phone call with Mark Elliott.
And if you've never been to Preble, you want to go check it out. Too.
Preble County, Eaton, Ohio. It's great. It's easy. Get on 70, go west.
I
Straight
talked.
shot.
I talked to, like I said, that Austin Collins, and that's his hometown today. I talked to him for 2 hours while I was driving today, and the people of Eaton are excited. I mean, they are ready for this.
That's sweet.
And their Derby community is just as rich as any other. I mean, that's a Derby town.
So when people say, why move? Why'd you move the location? Why do this? One of the other reasons, but more centrally located. Indiana, Illinois is not too far away. Kentucky, just south. Michigan, it's all right.
And I bet there's a lot of Pennsylvania guys that are willing to drive 4 hours.
They're coming over there.
Yeah.
It's 4 hours, 22 minutes from Uniontown. East straight shot, easy driving. Again, once you get over the hump there and Wheeling, you get on the 4-lane, let it rip, and it's all good. But man, we want to see everybody, promoters, drivers. Don't forget the van derby. I'm going to be in a van.
Frankie's going to be in a van.
Be in a van.
Casey's going to be in a van.
You ever been in a van, Frankie?
No.
I can actually.
But when we were listening to Utah Stop the Chance the other night, and somebody was like, "The shit hurts," I'm like, "Oh, great."
I was the one that said that. It does not feel good, Frankie.
I would like a 75 Buick Electra seat.
I'm sitting here thinking about, I'm on the vendor side, you're on the promoter side, so I'm pretty experienced in the van. I'm like, this is my wheelhouse, Frankie.
Well, I got a secret. There is a secret crew. I'm not gonna say who, but they got a special van.
If I had to guess.
And it's happens to be hardcore rules, and it's being built.
If I had
It's
to
being
guess
built,
what kind of van
It's
it
being
is.
hauled out. It's being
We just stripped my Sienna today.
by. That's all I'm saying. I said enough. That's all I'm saying. I said enough.
I got 2 guesses, but I'm gonna keep it to myself. Rev'd up out.
I was gonna say I got it guaranteed. I know what it is.